Hello there. I am going to talk a little bit about the roadless rule, um, rollback possibilities, and why we need to support protecting the roadless rule. Public comment period is ending this Friday at 8:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please get in your public comments. There will be, I've got links and I'll share all that with you to help you get your comments in, plus letters to the editor, and calling and emailing your representatives, um, your governor, even ones from other states. If you make posts about them or write a letter to the editor, also add their name, tag them in it, because they have people that scan for their names and they will see that. Let them know what their constituents want and that we do not want to be rolled over by this administration who just wants to drill, baby, drill and extract, and leave the American people with the mess to clean up and the bill and no healthy watersheds or salmon runs or recreation areas or hunting and fishing and gathering areas. Not no, but leaving more at risk of being destroyed. And believe me, when you look into the history of Brooke Rollins, and I believe there's 10 already in the government that are with, anyways, another group as well, the America First Priorities Institute or something. Anyways, they prioritize extraction over conservation, clearly, and so does the administration. So we've got a twofer, a double whammy, and we need to fight, baby, fight. We need to send in those public comments, even though we know they're not going to save the world and they're not going to end all of this right now, but it is the first step. So back when the roadless rule was originally started in 2001, or when it was originally not started about 99 or so, passed in 2001, there were 600 public hearings. There was 6.2 million public comments. So let's get a bunch of comments in now as well and say the values that were in place then causing this to be so overwhelmingly bipartisan passed. 95% of those public comments were for the rule, by the way. The priorities, the characteristics and values from the 2001 preamble are not less now, they're more important now. So now, even more than then, we need to fight for this rule to maintain the areas without roads so that there are no new roads built in for logging or extraction. So there's already roads there. There's already ability to go in and thin for wildfires. There's already ways of all that. There's even some areas that still have some timber extraction in them. But there is no new roads being built in these areas. That's the point. And a lot of these roadless rural areas are around our wilderness areas that are already protected. And so it's an extra buffer between the clear cut or the Forest Service cutting, however they're doing it in that area, versus the protected areas. So it's really important, and a lot of fish and game and bird migration corridors, and 60 million people get their drinking water from national forest watersheds. I know out here on the rural coast we do, of course, and it's very, very important. And roads, as we know, especially roads on rugged terrain and backcountry terrain and slopey hills and mountains, and especially roads that are not being maintained because they're too expensive and nobody can afford it, especially the Forest Service. Even they couldn't afford it even in the 90s, which is why this whole thing started in the first place, because lack of road maintenance, which they had a huge backlog of a deficit, which they still have. It got carried forward to today still. And as we know, their budget's even getting cut less and less than what it was, which was barely enough to maintain. And now they're getting fired as well. And so there's not enough people to maintain. Anyway, so imagine this situation that caused them to make the roadless rule in the first place. They had to stop building roads because they couldn't afford to maintain them, and they're destroying the watersheds and the water table and the salmon runs and the creeks and streams and making people unhealthy, and everything that rolls downhill with sediment and with bad logging road maintenance. If you've ever been on one, if you've ever walked in one, I stepped in a rut that was all the way up to like here in a freshly done logging road up on one of the mountains around here. So they're bad. And the rocks and the pebbles and the sediment, I mean, you don't want more. Who would foot the bill for that, for cleaning the water for the communities? Us, the people, the taxpayers. We also foot the bill for maintaining the roads in the first place, which nobody even has enough to do, so it's not done. Hence the roadless rule. And then Miss Brooke Rollins says, "Oh, it's for wildfires, so we can prevent wildfires. We can get in there and fight them." It's not true. There's already provisions for doing that. 1, 2, 4 times more likely wildfires are more likely to start in a roaded area with people than in a roadless area. Not to mention the mature and old growth forests that are left are more fire resistant, as we know, and fire resilient. And also they are more, they hold the water table in the soil. They hold live soil. They're moist. They're more native species. Also, because over half the invasive non-native species are also found within 500 feet of roads in the roaded areas in the national forest. So it just does not add up at all what she's saying. That's because she is married to oil. Her husband owns 2 oil companies, and she used to be in a think tank for oil, an oil company thing, and she's got the other, American First Priorities Institute or whatever, that is all about drilling and mining and extracting over conservation. So she'll say whatever it takes to get the public to say, oh, well, maybe she's got a point. Let's just go ahead and let her get away with it and give our public lands away to her. We want more problems. Sure. No, we don't. Plus, in the big, beautiful bill that passed, any Forest Service timber logging in revenue income no longer goes. There was a portion before that went to the Forest Service for running and maintaining their stuff, and for the communities in which they came, for roads or schools, or depending on community to community, I believe it changed. But now it goes to the U.S. Treasury. Yippee! One more reason to keep this fight going, not just the roadless rule right now. This is the first set of public comments, which is only 21 days instead of like 60 or 45 or 90 or however long they often are. But anyways, there'll be another one later once the draft environmental impact statement is done, I believe. There's also the BLM public land ruling that they're trying to get rid of right now as well. And there's more, there's other just boom, 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 one and another of health risks and poisoning and polluting that they're getting in. If you don't already know, this administration is all about polluting and extracting at the cost of the people, among other things that we're not talking about right now, because we're talking about our environment and our forests and the natural landscape that supports us and allows us a place to be and a way to live and breathe and drink water. So anyways, the Tongass National Forest is very, very, very much trying to be extracted. And they're trying any way they can around getting rid of the roadless rule nationally. They're trying to get rid of the Alaska roadless rule. They want the Tongass, and they want any of our forests. And the native tribes up there rely on the Tongass National Forest being intact for their salmon, for their hunting, for their cultural gathering of materials, for teaching their children and grandchildren, of course, cultural sites. I mean, it is a major disrespectful, just disgusting attack on people and culture and community and history and heritage and humans. It's an attack on humans and animals and critters. And I really hope that you're able to spread the awareness and share it and just keep fighting for keeping the last of our public lands in public hands and helping to keep that intact so that we have a place to be and air to breathe and carbon still stored in those trees when things calm down again a little bit out in the world. We'd still like to have some land left. So yeah, I've got tons of information on the roadless rule. Other groups like Sierra Club has great webinars, very informative. Pacific Northwest Forest Climate Alliance, there's Cascadia Wildlands, Oregon Wild. There are lots of groups really really pushing, lots of Instagram posts. So anyways, there's so many things, and I can put links I'll put links with this for more information. Yeah, I know I didn't really get into tons of it, but obviously hunting, fishing, recreation, climbing, biking, whitewater rafting, families, getaways, mushroom foraging, bouldering, climbing, all of those things, watersheds. What is it? Let's see, threatened and endangered species, 21,000 different kinds that are around. Also, the recreation economy is much stronger than the extraction economy, and it really helps everybody a lot, especially in the Tongass. The recreation economy is way more than the few jobs that logging would bring. So they are very, very against more destruction. And there is a comment. There are some good comments. I'll put a link to a report about wildfires. I think I already said that 4 times more likely wildfire to start in the eroded area. But there is a very, very, very good comment from Alaska Sustainable Fisheries Trust and Conservation Biology Institute and Dr. Dominic De La Sala that is so thorough and has a lot of scientific recommendations for the Forest Service to add into their environmental impact statement if they are to do it. So there's just so much good information. And like I said, the Sierra Club webinars are excellent. So yeah, they are just attempting anything and everything they can, one thing after another, to just steal our public lands, man, and continue deregulating them. Deregulating them faster so they can lease and sell them, so they can sell and extract all the minerals, and not to mention the uranium mine and all the things that they're talking about too. Yeah, just sucking it dry and leaving us the mess. So please send in your public comment by this Friday. You got like 2.5 days. Tell everybody, and have a great end of your week. Happy fall. Happy autumn, I should say.